At 19, he built a virtual reality headset in his parents' garage. He sold it to Facebook for $2 billion. Then they fired him. So he built a $30 billion weapons empire, and now the Pentagon can't ignore him. In 96 months, a 23-year-old in flip-flops built a $30 billion weapons empire from scratch. He had no tanks, no jets, no congressional allies, just one contrarian bet that the Pentagon was about to break its own rulebook. On a humid afternoon in June of 2017, in a windowless industrial park in Irvine, California, Palmer Luckey walked into a meeting with three former Peter Thiel deputies wearing the same Hawaiian shirt he had worn to his own firing. The defense primes laughed. Lockheed did not return his calls. What four people decided in that room contradicts every Pentagon procurement playbook written since Eisenhower. And the IPO he is now preparing will force Wall Street to admit it had the entire defense industry backward. I am Tycoon Decoded. Today, how Palmer Luckey built Anduril into a $30 billion defense empire in 8 years, and why the biggest defense tech IPO since Lockheed is about to expose every assumption Washington made about who builds American weapons. To understand Anduril, you have to understand the man Facebook fired. Palmer Luckey invented the Oculus Rift in his parents' garage in Long Beach. Facebook bought it in 2014 for $2 billion. He was 21. 3 years later, he was out after a political donation became a public relations problem. Luckey was charitably in a difficult spot. He had $2 billion and no company. He also had a phone number for Trey Stevens, a partner at Founders Fund, and a deeply unpopular thesis. The thesis: the Pentagon spends $800 billion a year, and almost none of it goes to software companies that can ship. Lockheed Martin, the named antagonist of this story, had revenue of $51 billion that year. It also had a 12-year average procurement cycle. Luckey believed he could compress that to 12 months. Silicon Valley investors thought he was insane. Defense primes thought he was irrelevant. Both were wrong in ways that took 6 years to fully reveal. Here is the contrarian bet that built the company. Anduril would not bid on government contracts the traditional way. It would build products on its own dime, then sell them finished, like Apple. No cost plus accounting, no 10-year development cycles, just working hardware shipped fast. On a Tuesday morning in November of 2017, in a small office above a strip mall, 6 engineers wrote the first lines of Lattice, the AI software that would become the company's backbone. The whiteboard read, "Build it first, sell it second." Nobody in defense did this. Everybody in Silicon Valley assumed it would fail. The first product was a sentry tower for the southern border. Customs and Border Protection bought it within 9 months. The procurement officer who signed the deal had, in a quiet irony, been told by 3 primes that an autonomous tower was impossible to deliver in under 5 years. Anduril delivered it in 7. But the move they made next was the one nobody, not even their own board, saw coming. In 2019, Anduril stopped pitching legacy generals and started pitching Special Operations Command. SOCOM had a different procurement authority. It could buy things fast. Anduril shipped them small autonomous drones, counter-drone systems, and Lattice software in under a year. By 2021, the company had 8 active contracts. By 2022, it had over 30. Revenue tripled. The valuation hit $8.5 billion. The patent interrupt arrived on February 24, 2022. Russia invaded Ukraine, and the entire premise of American defense procurement collapsed in 72 hours. Suddenly, the Pentagon needed cheap autonomous systems. Now, not in 2031. Lockheed could not ship them. Raytheon could not ship them. Anduril could. The company's Ghost drones, Altius loitering munitions, and Lattice command software were already built, already tested, already in production. The Department of Defense placed orders that would have taken a traditional prime 4 years to even bid on. Anduril shipped them in weeks. And then the meeting in March of 2023 changed every assumption about the business. Inside the Pentagon's replicator program planning sessions, a senior official said one sentence that, in retrospect, ended the old defense model. We need thousands of autonomous systems by 2025, and we cannot wait for the primes. Anduril, with 1,500 employees and a single Mississippi factory, had effectively been handed a structural advantage that Lockheed, with 116,000 employees, could not match. By late 2023, the company had a $14 billion valuation. By 2024, $30 billion. Then came the part nobody predicted. In August of 2024, Anduril announced it would build Arsenal 1, a 500-acre hyperscale weapons factory in Columbus, Ohio,
designed to produce tens of thousands of autonomous systems per year. The cost, nearly $1 billion, financed largely by private capital. No prime had built a greenfield weapons factory in 40 years. Anduril was building one before his IPO. And here is what most reporters got wrong. Every analyst framed Anduril as a Silicon Valley novelty riding a wartime spike. They were not just wrong, they had the entire story backward. The bet was never about war. The bet was about software margins applied to hardware that governments must buy. Lockheed sells fighter jets at single-digit margins because it cannot decouple labor from product. Anduril sells Lattice, a software platform embedded inside every drone, tower, and submarine it ships. The hardware is the delivery mechanism. The software is the business. Why is Anduril worth $30 billion with under $3 billion in annual revenue? Because Wall Street, never want to miss an opportunity to be wrong about technology, is finally pricing it as a software company that happens to ship weapons. The IPO filing, expected in 2026, will be the first true test of whether public markets accept this reframing. Bankers privately estimate a $60 to $80 billion valuation at debut. That would make it the largest defense tech IPO since Lockheed Martin itself went public. Here is the lesson. Luckey did not beat the primes by being smarter about defense. He beat them by refusing to play by defense rules. He built first, sold second, owned the software layer, and waited 8 years for the world to catch up. Most founders chase the market. The empire builders build the product the market does not yet know it needs, then survive long enough to be right. Next time on Tycoon Decoded, how a 28-year-old built a $60 billion nuclear fusion empire on a bet every physicist called impossible. Subscribe so you do not miss it. One of his earliest investors compared him to Edison. The other compared him to Oppenheimer. Only one of them was joking.
If this story changed the way you think, subscribe. Every week, I decode another empire, how it started, and the one move that made it unstoppable. I'm Julio. I'll see you in the next one.